We all know what's transpired and the potential ramifications of betrayal. Correct? Unity is the only solution in times of crisis. Our principles are honor, sacrifice, and, above all, solidarity.
Terrific performance as usual.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. And I think the thing that really fascinated me about your performance is that it's not your typical mob boss character. It feels a lot different. You know, and this has got to be sort of a tricky kind of character to play because there's sort of perceptions people have of that kind of character. What would you say informed your role most?
Well, you know, when Ray approached me with the script, the role wasn't really very developed. You know, it was very incidental, really, to the story.
Right.
But he wanted me to get involved because we have a relationship, you know, since we worked on City Island together, and he wanted me to come in. I was also one of the producers on it, and I said, well, you know, we talked a little about the potential of the part, and we did some research on the guy who it was originally written based on, which was a real character.
Right.
And there was a thing in there. Ray really wanted to explore the concept of him as a father, as a grandfather, and there was this backstory that had to do with that the real character was based on. He had a food truck business, and then eventually got involved in. So I presented to him an idea I had about how that would have happened. Had to do with these Manila's envelopes that he began to deliver and all that. And we started elaborating on his arc of his story and wrote, and then presented ideas to the writer and also improvised things while so the whole concept of a guy that got involved in mob activities or became the head of a mob, but really got involved initially as a runner or someone who's just making some money to provide for his family. So he gets involved in this world to provide, try to create a better life for his family,
right,
and to protect his family. And in fact, this world that he gets involved in, the higher he climbed up that ladder of authority, it got to the point where he could no longer protect his family anymore, and you know, he lost a son in the process. And now he's got this grandson, and we wanted to really explore that concept of a man that was brokenhearted because of what happened to his son.
Yeah.
And he had this young boy, and sort of incorporating all those elements, and also keeping alive his love of food and so forth. So that was the character that we began to sort of create, and that was exciting to me because it wasn't so much about I'm the mob boss, it's more like I'm the grandfather.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what I really liked about the character, because you don't expect to see that from that type of character.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it sort of interesting. And the beard looks great on you, by the way. And then was that your idea?
That's my beard.
That's your beard, yeah. It looked good on you. Was that your idea to put the beard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helped, yeah. I think that definitely informed the character, definitely in terms of having a lot of history and so forth. And
yes. Yeah, I saw him kind of like an old world character, you know?
Yeah, he is, absolutely, yeah. And I did want to ask you, I love The Godfather Part 3. A lot of people have said different things about it. I think it's a great movie, the first two. Was there any difference in playing sort of like a mob character then, as opposed to something like a mob character in Rob the Mob?
Well, there's two different characters to begin with.
Exactly,
the age of the characters differently. In The Godfather, he's a young hood kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And the time period is, probably like a 20-year difference,
Yeah, exactly.
From the 70s to 1990. Well, we shot it in 1990, but it actually took place in the 70s. This one took place in the 90s, so. They're just different characters. I mean, it's like you can play a policeman in every movie, but they're all different characters, you know?
Absolutely.
Every policeman is different. There's no generalization of like, you say, oh, you're playing another cop or another mobster. Yeah, but it's a different guy, you know?
Well, I've never seen a tree. I'm from New York. I mean, why would I see the tree? It's only for out-of-towners.
What's this?
What's going on?
I want to give you this. You guys ever been to Mexico?
To Mexico? We're not going to Mexico. We got a plan. We're going to leave in a couple days.
You don't have a plan. Please, please. Listen, you guys, you're a little bit more exposed than you should be.
Yeah, no.
I think you guys got to get out of the country. Okay? These guys, They're not going to let you go. They're never going to forget about this. It's not going to go unpunished, ever. Okay, I've thought this through.
We got a plan, all right?
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
This is the way out of it. I'm trying to fix this.
No,
now.
you
I'm
pretended like you were
this.
our friend and you
Tommy, do me a
exploited
favor.
us.
Think for a
Rosie,
second.
get in the car.
What'd you
No,
think
we
of-
don't take the chicks. Don't want them. Don't want them. Rosie, get in the car.
You're smarter than this, Tommy. You know what's going to happen. You know these guys, Tommy. Take these tickets. Take
Close
these
the door.
tickets. You got to get out of here.
Go.
You got to get out of here.
Baby, close the door.
Bring these tickets here, Tommy. Use these tickets.
Don't want your tickets.
Just keep driving, all
Close
right?
the door.
Terrific movie. I really liked it.
Thank you, man.
It was basically, I mean, I've never really heard of this story before. I didn't realize until the movie star was based on a true story. I was just curious, when did you become aware of this story?
Yeah, it's strange. When I read the screenplay, actually, even though I have lived in New York, you know, on and on for many years, and I love true crime, this was not one that I'd heard of, and that was actually something that I kind of liked about it. I always loved Dog Day Afternoon, because I always thought Dog Day Afternoon, the story has all the scope, all of the drama, you know, and yet it's about a robbery that, even though it affected these guys' lives hugely, it was in the news for a minute. You know, it wasn't. It didn't seem to have. And that's when I read this script. I went, wow, this has all of that scope. And ultimately, what they did, it made, you know, so it had a few days of life in the post. Now, if you lived in Queens, near where it was happening, it was a different story.
Yeah.
Yes,
Take it.
I live blocks away from there, and so I do remember it. And it's like you said, it wasn't headlines, but it was something that you heard and you were like, no, it can't be.
Right.
They're really going in there and doing that? So I do remember it, and I remember hearing it a couple times, and then it kind of went away. So I didn't remember the outcome. And then I got the script, and it all came back. The story came back, and then I realized how it ended.
Yeah. Something kind of inevitable about the ending.
Yes.
Which is a shame, but yeah. And it took me a while, but your character is based on a real life character. And
I think it's more of
or is it more
composite of a couple of.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard different things. They said it was based on a real character and it might be composite. But yeah, how because you wrote a big backstory for your character. How did you go about it?
Who told you that?
I don't know.
Found it on my blog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't write a big backstory, but we talked a lot about where this guy was coming from, you know, and how he's been on the beat for over 20 years, and he's kind of he was drawn to it, and you know, after living with the good and the bad and the morality, and now he's kind of burnt out. So I did kind of. Yes, I took that and then I kind of invented, you know, a little backstory for him. But I didn't base it on anybody in particular, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderfully underplayed role. It's great to watch you in this kind of role.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
bet.
Yeah.
Because and I read in the notes that you know you found a little more freedom to improvise in this film as opposed to like when you do a sitcom.
Yeah, well, it depends what you're doing. I mean, yeah, and usually in a sitcom it's like a play, so you're kind of set and you've got to hit your mark and do the thing. But Raymond let us go. I mean, we said the lines and then we said more, and you let us do our thing, and you took what worked and what didn't work you took out. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it looked like you guys.
And
were
those
having
actors, you know, some actors get scared when you tell them that.
Usually they're English. They're kind of
don't
like, hey,
that.
what's wrong with the script? I studied this.
Well, that's Andre Brower, who's not English, but sounds like he's English.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't want to improvise at all. Yeah.
And I did have to ask you, and the cast is great, but Nina Arianda, I hadn't really heard of her before. She's spectacular in this film.
Yeah. Nina's a big name on Broadway. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and just in the last few years. But this is her first lead in a movie. I saw her in Venus and Fur on the Broadway, and I thought she was, you know, just astounding, as everyone who sees her. So I just thought it was so, like, we were so fortunate to get her for her, you know, for her maiden voyage.
No one's getting hurt. Was it really a crime?
You get me that list at all costs! I wrote this because of you. You gotta do something for these kids.
Get out there and bring them in. They're done.
In the history of crime, few have been so foolhardy as the striking young woman and her Uzi-waving partner, Queen's own Bonnie and Clyde.
It's good, right?